My name's Leo Patterson. My pronouns are he, him. To be trans, me and being trans have had a very, I'm not sure how to, tempestuous relationship, I feel like. To be trans now, I'm at a point where I've medically transitioned and socially transitioned for the last 6 years. So I'm pretty comfortable with being trans. To be trans right now is to be unapologetically myself, to tell people I'm trans, to represent trans people, to call out transphobia, to try and be the trans representative that, you know, younger me did not have. You know, to be trans is to me, it's very beautiful. It's such a beautiful journey. It's very bittersweet, but also to be just completely vulnerable. I feel like the vulnerability that we have is not on the same, whether it's a good or a bad thing. It's not on the same level as, you know, if I was cisgender. But to be trans to me is something really, really meaningful to me, and something I'm extremely proud of myself for. I would describe it as a journey. I describe my journey, I sort of said, but as, tempestuous again. You know, it's had its ups and downs. It's been met with positives and negatives. But overall, at the moment, I'd say unique, but also collective. So there's other people who feel the same way as me. Also, yeah, just very rewarding, vulnerable, beautiful. Gosh, I could go on forever. So coming out 6 years ago, the first thing I did was go to my GP. You know, I was 13 years old. I went to my GP. My GP had no idea what was going on. You know, GPs, especially on the NHS, GPs learn about trans people from a textbook. I was like the first trans person my GP had ever dealt with. You know, at the time it was learning from a textbook, and that textbook was the DSM. You know, it was medicalising trans bodies that went, are we really sure we want to be medicalised? And then it was being put on a wait list for 9 months, which is very lucky because right now it's like 6 years. So that was 9 months I waited to be seen by the NHS General Identity Clinic. And it was false promises. I was told I could start blockers, and then I was denied blockers, and then I was told I could start hormone replacement therapy, and then I was denied hormone replacement therapy. I was told I could start when I was 16. Blockers are separate to hormone replacement therapy, but they are a form of hormone. You know, they're a form of treatment. They stop puberty for trans people, and they're normally given before puberty or around that time. So I was 16, I was told I could get them at 16. I was then denied them at 16. And hormone replacement therapy is, for me, testosterone injections. So it's replacing my body's natural estrogen production with testosterone, to the point where the estrogen actually begins to produce testosterone. So, you know, that's hormone replacement therapy, but it's very difficult to get on the NHS at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of false promises, a lot of being denied things, very scary, so many unknowns. Just therapy upon therapy upon therapy, talking about things that I just were not to do with being trans at all, what they felt at the time. And then it was finding the money to go private, essentially, because nothing was happening. I was at the point where I'd been transitioning for 4 years, and I was telling them what I wanted, and nothing was happening. So it's this framework that healthcare professionals have that just leaves no room for trans people to actually be outside of that, or not do what they say, or even the limitations of that of being underfunded. So that's why I ended up having to go private, and that was obviously extremely expensive. I went private in, I must have been 17. I went private, and the only option was for underage people. I was essentially at the point where I was at a breaking point. I was like, if I don't go private, if I don't get this hormone therapy now, like, unfortunately something drastic is going to happen, which I've been saying for the last 4 years. But yeah, so I went private when I was 17. The only option was Gender GP, who have been absolutely amazing. They're a private company. So Gender GP are a private provider of trans healthcare, in the form of like medical intervention, therapy, and all those things. I'm actually unsure of it now, but at the time they were the only people providing hormone replacement therapy to underage trans people. So I was 17, and they were the only reason I was able to get hormones. And I'm still with them, but they are extremely, extremely under fire constantly. Even the founder of Gender GP was, shunned by the General Medical Council, and now cannot even operate in the UK because of how people don't want underage trans people to have healthcare, pretty much. They want to limit our accessibility, and so they try to take away our resources. But Gender GP is still going strong. But yeah, they were pretty much my saving grace. And yeah, I'm still with them. They're what allows me to access my medication every day and be who I want to be. I think, well, it's definitely extremely contested at the moment, but I think anyone should have any access to any healthcare, full stop. To take away anyone's access to healthcare is whether they're underage or overage, or no matter what it is, whether they're trans, whether they're cis. To take away anyone's access to healthcare or like medical interventions is like completely ridiculous. To take away that literal human right is pretty terrible, yeah. Talk to us. I think talk to us, but not to the point where we're your only source of information. We're not. Part of my life isn't to educate people, but at the same time, we're not scary. We're not rare. There's a lot of us, and we're a huge community. But talk to us, and like I said, get rid of your implicit biases. You might think, talking about the LGBT community, you might think because you're part of that community and you're not trans, you might think, oh, I love trans people, of course I love trans people, of course I stand for trans rights, I'm part of the community. But really, when you dig deep, think about your sort of implicit biases towards trans people and how you treat trans people without even knowing it. Think about how you have sort of no trans people in your life. Think about sort of why. But listen to us, listen to us, and then talk for us, not over us. Because ultimately, if you're cisgender, your voices are heard over ours, unfortunately, because we are completely suppressed by the media. So to support us best is to listen to us, to take our word and stand with us when we talk, because we have a lot of power, but you also have a lot of power to fight for our rights.